Once you sign up on REPL, you'll be taken to the dashboard, which looks like this. To create a new file, all that we have to do is click on New REPL here on the left, and you can choose the programming language from the drop down. The one that we are going to use is Ruby, and you can provide name to this particular application. I'm going to call this bank application, and I'm going to create the REPL. That should take a while, and this is what the interface would look like. On the leftmost corner you will find the file name, and this is where this is the code editor where we'll be writing our code, and this is the terminal where we will be running the application. So this is what the interface should look like. Now we saw that we're going to build the bank application, and before we build the application, let's see if we can write a pseudocode and also look at something called a flowchart to build the bank application. So if I just go back and run the app again, so in here just got a test. We want to prompt the user with an input and get them to provide their name. And once they provide their name, we want to give them more options to choose from. And once they provide their choice based on what they opted, we need to provide more instructions or appropriate instructions. And once the user provides the input, we need to give them a final message. So if you are going to write a pseudocode for this, so if I just go back to the bank app here, if I'm going to write a pseudocode for this, let's see what that pseudocode looks like. Pseudocode is called algorithm or pseudocode, which is a step-by-step instruction of solving a problem, but you will not be using any code syntax or a code language. So this is a comment, so a hash at the start, or you can hit control / or command / based on whether you're using a Windows or a Mac. So let's see what our algorithm would look like. First, provide display a welcome message and get the user to input their name, and then retrieve the user input and store it in a variable for later use. We'll explore what a variable is in a second. And once we receive the user input, display hello username and provide further instructions. Get the user to choose one of the menu items based on user selection. If user selected D, ask how much they would like to deposit and update balance. If the user selected W, ask how much they would like to withdraw and deduct from balance. If the user selected B, show the balance. So even before we go ahead and write the code for this application, we can write a pseudocode or an algorithm, which is a step-by-step instruction on how you would solve this problem or how you would go ahead and build this application. So this is what an algorithm is. Let me comment that out. What I did is I just selected all of these lines of code and I just hit command// on my keyboard as I'm using Mac. If you're using Windows, you might have to hit control/. So this is the algorithm. Now the next step is to visualize what this algorithm would look like, and we call that a flowchart. I made the flowchart already and it's in my slides, so let me just walk you through what that would look like. So this is a visual representation of what you would be building. So first it's a start, then you would prompt for username. You will get the you'll get the username as an input, and then you will display the menu, get the user choice as an input, and then you're going to have a check. You have three options here. If the user chose deposit, you'll update the balance with the amount that they chose. If the user chose to withdraw, you're going to reduce the balance, reduce the amount from the balance. If the user chose to show balance, then you would just display the balance. Irrespective of what path you take, you just exit out of the application. So this is how we could visually see the flow of our application using what is called as a flow chart. So step 1, we wrote a pseudocode. Step 2, we looked at the flow chart. Step 3 is now we'll go ahead and create our application.